Hey everyone, welcome along to Inside the Circuit, the show that brings you all the latest news and insights from the world of Roborace, tech and auto. My name is Matt Roberts and I'm in the hot seat this week, quite literally actually, because summer has finally arrived here in the UK. It's been absolutely boiling. As you can see, I've got a bit of sunburn as well, and the sun has been streaming into my little home studio here all afternoon. It's red hot, but it's great to be along with you guys this week. I'm so glad you could join us. And as ever, we always want to hear from you as well. So if you've got any questions at all, please make sure you send them in to Roborace, at Roborace on Instagram and Twitter, or just leave your comments in the section below and we'll aim to get back to you as soon as we can. And for those of you who may have just stumbled across us and are wondering what Roborace is, well, it's the world's first fully autonomous all-electric racing series. And we're already halfway through our season beta, which is the last chance for any final development work on the AIs by our teams before the start of season 1, which is due to get underway later on this year. Our next round, Mission 5, is in June, and the cars are going to be racing at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, which is where they've been for the last few rounds, and the racing there has been absolutely mega, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the teams have got in store for us next time out. So, in the meantime, let's bring you guys up to date with everything that's been happening in our AI-related news sphere, because AI is not just reserved for the automotive industry. Last month, some really cool AI news was implanted in hospitals right here in the UK. Check this out.
Groundbreaking heart surgery, with the Royal Free Hospital in North London leading the way. The first of its kind in the UK, using artificial intelligence technology to help fit stents into arteries of those who have suffered a heart attack. Although it started here in Hampstead, it's hoped this innovative image software can be rolled out across hospitals all over the country.
How cool is that, and so important as well. Heart attack patients at the Royal Free Hospital in London, the first in the country to be treated with artificial backed keyhole procedure. Now, that pioneering technology coupled with AI means that cardiologists are able to make quicker and more accurate whilst carrying out angioplasties, which is fitting a stent for coronary artery disease. Now, the AI software can automatically detect the severity of calcium-based blockages and measure vessel diameter to enhance the precision of the surgeon's decision-making during coronary stenting procedures, which are used to treat patients with coronary artery disease. So huge importance, huge scope for this technology in the future, and the merging of AI with the existing technology that just enhances the accuracy of it and provides a really valuable tool to guide the cardiologist through the procedure. And after successful operations so far, a further 20 centres across the UK are going to receive this new enhanced AI software upgrade, which is going to allow cardiologists to have a more precise and more measurable way of supporting patients undergoing coronary stent procedures, which I'm sure you'll agree is pretty cool stuff. All right, back onto the heart-stopping nature of AI racing now then, and moving on with today's show. We've got the next instalment of our series where we shine a spotlight on the companies and the universities who are behind our competing Roborace teams. And for episode 2 today, we're taking a look at MIT Driverless.
One of the new kids on the block, this team from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT for short, are making their Roborace debut at Season Beta. Although new to Roborace, they already have some hard-won experience, taking third place during the German leg of the Formula Student Driverless Circuit 2019 and second place during the Italian leg. Fielded from one of the top-ranked universities in the United States, the team has been making huge improvements race after race, and it's surely just a matter of time before they take the top step on the podium.
So there you go. That's a brief overview of the main players in MIT's lineup. But in total, they actually have 22 people on their roster. And we're going to be talking to the team manager, Andrew Trzanski, and the chief engineer, Chris Chang, a little bit later. Always good fun catching up with those guys. But for now, let's take a look at the actual university behind the team. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology is situated on the east coast of America in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Established in 1861, MIT has since played a key role in the development of modern science, engineering, mathematics, and technology, and it ranks amongst the most prestigious academic institutions in the world. Notable computer and applied science alumni have come from MIT, including Claude Shannon, who developed the digital circuit design theory, which paved the way for modern computers, and Charles Stark Draper, who designed the flight recorder, more commonly referred to as the black box, at MIT's instrumentation laboratory. And that lab later made the Apollo moon landings possible through the Apollo guidance computer that it designed for NASA. And more than 1/3 of the United States manned space flights have included MIT-educated astronauts, a contribution exceeding that of any other university. And out of the 12 people who've set foot on the moon as of 2019, 4 of them graduated from MIT, amongst them Apollo 11 lunar module pilot Buzz Aldrin. And as of October 2020, by the way, 40 MIT alumni have won Nobel Prizes. So looks like there's some pretty smart people coming out of MIT, and no doubt they're smart before they go in there as well, but an incredible roster that they've got, an incredible history as well, and I'm sure it's a great place to go and study. So it's a natural fit really for a collaboration with something as forward-thinking as Roborace. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, actually, Roborace is going to be back on track later this month. But as it's an MIT-focused show, we thought it was only right to remind ourselves of how they got on last time out at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway at round 10.
I've always thought that robotics were super interesting. I remember when I was applying to MIT, my interview for part of the application, the guy asked me, why do you want to go to MIT? I literally said, word for word, I think robots are going to take over the world someday. And to this day, I still believe that to be kind of true, more or less. I have learned so much from Roborace. I think that the metaverse is super awesome because it's basically applying this video game technology that we've seen in Mario Kart to the real world. So we have our real car on a real racetrack somewhere in the world, but trying to navigate through this entire array of virtual rewards and obstacles.
So the final time that we'll have to see the DevBot 2.0 in action this week here in Mission 4.0, round number 10, MIT Driverless. Into autonomous mode, the car launches off the line, it races towards the first corner, so we're not expecting them to avoid that ghost car. And of course, what do? They avoid it. That was fantastic. So this is an impressive start for MIT Driverless. They do hit that next ghost car, so that is one overtake, but it wasn't a clean overtake, so they will suffer a 10-second penalty in total for that. And another one here right in the way, but they're really keeping the speed up here. MIT Driverless going for speed, but remember they've saved 16 seconds, make that now 18 seconds just through the loot that they've picked up. See if they do it again now. Yeah, they're picking up more loot, so the loot record is 32. We're not even halfway through, and MIT Driverless are up to 25 loot. That's 50 seconds saved so far. Out of the final corner they come, then the blast towards the finish line. They cross the line, they break the timing beam, and provisionally that is a total time of 6:38, quite considerably the fastest clear time that we've seen so far today.
Yep, MIT, really impressive last time out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is how it sits overall in the championship after 10 rounds of season beta. We've got Acronis SIT Autonomous, they're on top on 7,300 points, and Arrival Racing, who've had a disappointing few rounds to be fair. They've allowed ARG to catch up with them, so they sit joint second. And then there you go, our team of the moment, MIT, fourth overall on 5,400 points, and very much in the chase for second place at the minute. And also just should do a quick mention as well for Polymove, who've only just recently joined us, but after 4 rounds of competition, they're already creeping up that leaderboard. They're ahead of CMU and closing in on the teams above them as well. So really, we've been really impressed by Polymove. But let's get back onto MIT, and I'm really delighted to be joined now by the team manager, Andrew Trzymski, and the chief engineer, Chris Chang. How's it going, guys? Thanks so much for coming on. How are you guys both? You look a lot less stressed than when I normally speak to you before, moments before a race is about to start.
Well, I'm in a new environment now. Back home here in California, so things are a lot less stressful here. That's for sure.
I'm very jealous. How about you, Andrew? How are you doing?
I'm great. It's a lot more relaxing now that the semester is over, to be honest.
That's the other thing. Yeah, I guess you've had deadlines and stuff like that to meet as well, which would have been extra pressure. So the importance now for you guys, the focus is going to turn to Mission 5, I guess. For anybody who's watching this who doesn't know exactly what your roles are, you guys, could you we'll start with Andrew, obviously general manager. But what does that entail, Andrew?
So I try to take care of the people on the team, recruit new members, manage our structure, and set the overall strategy, and then also take care of business functions, and leave all the really hard technical and cool stuff to Chris.
That's not true at all, Andrew.
It's all right. So what's the technical cool stuff that you get up to then, Chris, exactly?
Okay, well, I mean, like, the technical considerations for a competition like this are humongous, right? So, like, there are a lot of sub-teams that fall under the engineering department of MIT Driverless, and I basically head that department. So, like, everything from, like, planning to controls to state estimation. Like, perception isn't exactly something that is super relevant for Roborace yet, but, like, we still have that team, and we're using them to great effect. And I'm just, like, the one who keeps everyone unblocked and manages the overall engineering vision of the team.
I think it's so cool that whilst you guys are obviously still in the midst of your studies, you're also doing something that's having such a real impact on the real world. I don't want to tell you guys what I got up to at university. We don't have time for that, but it certainly didn't have any kind of positive impact on the world around me. I can assure you of that. Tell me a little bit about the university itself. I was just talking about MIT and the history of the place before. It's produced all these great leaders in the world of science and tech. Is that the reason why? Did you choose MIT for those reasons, or did MIT choose you? How did it work? What got you in there?
I mean, you kind of choose each other, right? Like, I mean, MIT was always one of my dream schools because, like, it's supposed to be an amazing place for engineers, and it really is. It really is. Like, the community that you have at MIT is the most amazing thing ever. Like, when I first went into university, I wasn't thinking I was going to go into robotics or anything, but MIT is the university that, like, really spawned that interest in me, right? Took this one class in robotics that changed my life, and here I am. So, like, MIT can change your life, for sure.
How about you, Andrew? Is yours kind of a less tech science focused kind of line of study? Are you more into kind of strategy, business studies, that kind of thing?
Well, I'm doing an MBA and a master's in engineering, and I also just always wanted to go to MIT. I spent some time in the U.S. Navy, and so ever since undergrad, I wanted to come to MIT for grad school for the reasons Chris described. And I hoped coming here, I'd find something really cool that I could get excited about and try to go be a leader in the field of. And MIT Driverless definitely found me. And it's just an amazing match.
Yeah, cool. All right. Tell us a little bit about the lineup change that you guys have had recently. I believe there's been a kind of a shift around in personnel. Is that right? This is probably one for you, Andrew.
Yeah. We're a student team, and every year we have people graduate, and we try to make sure that we have plans in place to make that transition easier, and that falls a lot on what the business side of the team does, recruiting and making sure that we get new people in to keep us with a full roster of talented people who are passionate about making fast robotic cars.
Yeah, I mean,
actually, that's interesting. Go on, Chris. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so I was just gonna say, like, we are a student-led team, right? Like, we're full of undergrads and master students. Like, that means, like, we're not a lab full of PhDs. Like, we don't have PhDs staying here for 6-7 years or anything. But, like, I think we can definitely handle, like, the fact that every time that a new generation graduates from MIT Driverless, there's always going to be a new generation of bubbly and passionate individuals to like come and pick up where they left off, right? I'm literally going to graduate likely in this December, hopefully, I'm really hoping. And I have every faith that the team will carry on without me.
And what might be interesting now is you might be getting new recruits who are specifically looking at MIT because they're interested in Roborace. It might be the thing that captures their attention and kind of actually motivates them to get involved in the first place.
Honestly, I can totally see that. Like,
Yeah.
this is really a hot topic.
It's
really, I mean, recruitment for universities.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Recruiting, we lead with Roborace, we lead with just autonomous cars, and that gets us tons and tons of people interested in the team. And we actually have to filter people out because we don't have enough spots for all the people who are interested in it because it's so cool.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, well, it is cool. What about people who are not so into it? Have you guys got kind of roommates or housemates who are on different courses who just can't like understand what the hell you're talking about when you're talking about autonomous racing?
I haven't experienced that personally. Most people do not think, oh my god, cars, ew. Or especially like electric autonomous cars, like I don't know. Have not experienced that. I don't think I ever will.
I'm married, so it's just me and my wife, and I showed her one of the videos of the races with the multiverse and all the obstacles moving around and the loot. She's like, "This is what you've been doing? This is so cool."
Why didn't you tell me before? Yeah, I've had that experience myself. What have the challenges been for you guys then? Because it's been difficult, hasn't it? This with COVID and everything over the last 18 months. Everything's been different to how we would have expected to do things. What's that been like for you?
I mean, we've actually both been on the team for just less than a year now. I mean, so that means both of us, like, our entire experience with the team has been remote, right? So, like, that's been all right for us, I think. Like, we've stepped up to the challenge since day one. And the main thing that's really sad is, like, we really want to fly down to Las Vegas and actually see the car in person.
Yeah, we all want to do that. Yeah, believe me.
Yeah, we figured it out. It's the thing that's hardest to do, obviously, is get good social and fun stuff. But we managed to do a virtual escape room. Like, had a lot of fun with that. Get some like toucan sessions so people can play board games. But as far as getting the work done and getting the car fast and doing all the software for it, that's been great. And if anything, it's been a strength to be able to pull in people who are all across the country onto our team.
For sure. Like, our team isn't just MIT people. We have quite a few people from, like, actually other schools. And that's been a huge value add to our team for sure. We have a lot of diversity within our team, and it really makes for a very strong intellectual environment.
Yeah, well, that's cool. What we see as potentially a problem or an obstacle is actually created something really unique and something really cool. What about how did MIT actually get involved in Roborace? And what was this might be one for you, Andrew. I don't know. What was it about Roborace that got MIT, who create all these great thinkers who were already doing loads of cool projects, to actually think, okay, we want to go and do this? How did that happen?
I'm relatively new to the team. I think we just saw what looked like a cool opportunity and wanted to be a part of it, wanted to race user skills from Formula Student. Chris might know a little bit more.
I know a little more about this. Like, I mean, I'm also kind of new. Like, when I first joined the team, like, we were in the process of trying to sign on to Roborace, right? But, like, I mean, it just goes to it goes without saying, Roborace is such a cool opportunity. Like, we saw it, like, and we just could not say no. So here we are. It definitely was, like, very interesting in the first, like, few races of Roborace, because we were really struggling to get, like, just MVP, like, software out there, right? But, like, we really pulled through because we saw a huge future for us in continuing Roborace for many years to come.
Yeah, I hope so. Tell you what, guys, what we're also seeing as well is new teams being added to the roster already this year. We've got Team Polymove who joined. Obviously, this is linking you globally as well, isn't it, to other universities and institutions. Also, I guess a really interesting facet of it. Are you expecting to see any more teams join before we get going with season 1?
Really? Wait, are there more teams joining?
I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, would love to see them.
Do you expect to see any more?
I mean, yes. I don't know if 6 is too much. I mean, it completely depends on whether, because eventually if we're doing multi-agent racing, right, we probably need 6 actual cars. I don't know how many cars y'all have in reserve, but like, if you can manage it, then we want it. The more complexity, the better.
And are you actually bouncing off these other universities as well, Andrew? Are you actually able to, are you exchanging any data, or is it pure rivalry at the minute? You're keeping it all to yourself?
I think we're friendly. We've run across them in some of the other things we do and some of the research and academic things, but I think we keep our secret sauce pretty closely held.
Well, Roborace like to keep their cards close to their chest as well, right? Especially when it comes to the metaverse. You mentioned it before, Andrew. It took on an extra dimension last time out, didn't it? Around 10, it was much more dynamic. It was kind of, I would say, more fun to look at as well. And I believe the guys have got a few tricks up their sleeve for Mission 5 too. What do you guys make of the metaverse? And is it kind of is it taking on a different kind of vibe to what you thought it might be at the beginning?
Okay, I mean, it's surreal, right? It's absolutely amazing. Like, mixed reality, right, is the cornerstone of responsible, like, robust autonomy testing. And, like, the fact that Roborace is taking that approach to, like, testing our software in, like, such a safe but, like, complex way is, like, amazing. And, I mean, one of my favorite parts of the metaverse that you don't really see anywhere else is, like, the loot, right? Because for 2 reasons. One, like, it flips, like, most traditional state-of-the-art approaches of planning on their head. Like, most of the time you see things in literature and it's just based on obstacles, right? Loot is the inverse obstacle, and it really works well as a concept. But, like, the other thing here is, like, as soon as you have to start thinking not just about, like, how you want to collect some loot, but, like, whether you should collect it in the first place, like, you have so many, exponentially many options that you have to choose from, right? And that's something that traditional state-of-the-art approaches struggle to perform at that scale. So that's actually the entire inspiration, or one of the main inspirations behind our secret sauce, our racing AI spline racer. It's this idea that in order to make high-level decisions, when there's so many decisions that are possible, you have to somehow evaluate these high-level decisions. But like, if you use state-of-the-art approaches to do this, most approaches will evaluate those high-level decisions by computing some really high-fidelity trajectory for it. And that's just not scalable because you have limited compute and you want to be energy efficient. And like, part of the reason why electric cars nowadays that are trying to be autonomous might like run out of battery so quickly is because they're trying so hard to automate their decision-making process using antiquated models, when in reality, you can make a very high fidelity trajectory using a very novel method of trajectory generation that just isn't seen in literature yet. And that's something that we're really excited to show you.
That's really fascinating. So do you guys think you've got the answers to the next questions then that the metaverse is going to throw up? Are you kind of preempting what they're going to be?
If you're talking about Mission 5, the thing is, the spline racer that I just described to you is what I would call V3 spline racer, and it's not ready yet. It's been months in the making, and I mean months. Like, we have been working our asses off to get that done, but in the meantime, like, the only spline racer that we have is a V2 version of it. And I think you've seen, like, in previous missions, our ability to overtake is a bit crippled right now. Like, we have the ability to occasionally overtake, but it's not the safest thing in the world, right? We want to be calculated, smooth, and yet provably safe. And we are not yet able to do that last one for sure.
Okay. So are we a long way from that, Andrew? And what about when we get multiple cars on track? What do you expect to see then? Is it going to be absolute carnage? Are we going to see a lot of damage being done, or is the spectacle going to be less, in the beginning?
Well, I hope not. We've been looking forward to getting multi-agent racing and winning at multi-agent racing. We've had our goal set on that. That's what our approach has been aimed towards, and we're iterating towards that. And the metaverse has been incredible to do that. But at every step of the way, we are looking forward to handling true multi-agent racing, and I think that gives us an advantage.
And when you say safe, Chris, are you talking about not being quite so aggressive, or are you talking about being consistent and dependable?
I think it's about seeing overtake maneuvers in arbitrarily complex environments. When you have, especially like when you're dealing with other agents that are following the racing line, actually hitting those apexes, and especially if those ghost cars also don't respond to you, because that's significantly harder, right? When they respond to you, then you can kind of cut into the inside of them and negotiate maneuvers with them, and they'll respond to you, and it will be their fault if they crash, right? But so far in Roborace, we're seeing these ghost cars, they do not respond to you at all, meaning that any maneuvers that you do take to overtake must be highly precise, which is actually really hard to do, even when the performance delta between our car and their car is very high, right? So we are not yet at the stage where we can perform those overtakes for arbitrarily complex scenarios like that. But we are rapidly approaching the point where we can.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And I mean, Chris has already touched on it a little bit, Andrew, about what you guys have got prepared for Mission 5. But can you give us a little bit more about kind of your kind of hopes and expectations, I suppose, for the next round, which we're already looking forward to later this month?
I think the hope is to master that clean, fast overtake. And if we've got that, I think that'll put us in a really, really strong position to place for the Mission 5.
I will say that more realistically, what we'll be able to achieve might look more like fast and not overtake. I know that one of the events upcoming in Mission 5 will likely not have ghost cars, right? And during that event, we expect to be the fastest kid on the block for sure. We've been proved we've shown to be the fastest kid, and we will continue to be the fastest kid on the block. That is one of our goals for sure.
Oh, cool. So is the fastest kid going to be troubling the playground bullies this week? You know, our Cronus SRT have kind of been handing out the justice the last few rounds. Are you hoping to stick it to them, Chris?
I mean, hopefully. In that particular event, I think we stand a very good shot at getting first place.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what Andrew wanted to hear as well, wasn't it, Andrew? I know you're setting the bar. Chris, he's kind of managing expectations, but they're obviously very high, which is great. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Make the most of any downtime you've got now after all your deadlines have gone past, and now we're really looking forward to seeing you guys in what is it, a couple of weeks' time for Mission 5.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, Matt.
Been a pleasure. Thanks, guys. All right. Yeah. Well, as I mentioned there in the chat with the guys, it's really not long now until all the action gets underway back at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we can't wait. So much to look forward to at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on the 25th and 26th of June. And after that fighting talk from MIT, I'm really looking forward to it now. So you can catch all that action live, and we'll be back actually for another episode of Inside the Circuit. Before then, that'll be next Thursday, June the 17th, 6 p.m. British Summer Time and 10 a.m. Pacific Time. So make sure you join us for that one. In the meantime, make sure, please, stay connected. Talk to us. You can always get in touch with us on the Roborace Twitch channel via Instagram and Twitter. And we're always going to be happy to respond to you guys' questions. So please keep them coming. I hope you enjoyed the show today. I really loved it. It was great to catch up with the guys from MIT. Can't wait to see them in action, and hope you guys will be back with us here again for more Inside the Circuit next week. Bye for now.